This turns a small town upside down.
It's shocking.
Who's behind the threats? Our exclusive investigation tonight on the CBS Evening News. Later, right after CBS 4 News, so stay with us.
The Toyotathon of Toyotathons is on now at your Toyota dealer. Visit your local Toyota dealer today and get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2008 Toyota Tacoma. Toyota, moving forward.
That's our news for now. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great evening.
For more news, you can go to CBS4.com or you can listen to our radio partner, News Radio 610 WIOD. Now, here's the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. We hope to see you at 11.
Tonight, alleged Wall Street swindler Bernard Madoff is under house arrest, and Congress is getting ready to grill the SEC. Why did it ignore warnings of such a massive fraud? I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, OPEC slashes production. But it can't stop oil from plunging to prices we haven't seen in more than 4 years. Did someone put out a hit on this small town?
I said, you want me to kill 60 people? You want me to kill the whole town of Shawano?
CBS News investigates extraordinary allegations against a mysterious group.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. A federal judge here in New York placed Bernard Madoff under house arrest today, confining the accused swindler to his luxury apartment, ordering him to wear an ankle bracelet and surrender his passport. The one-time Wall Street guru who allegedly bilked investors out of $50 billion signed over the apartment as well as homes in Palm Beach and the Hamptons to make his $10 million bond. And now, as Bob Orr reports, federal regulators are under fire for allowing the alleged fraud to unfold right under their noses.
As accused swindler Bernard Madoff shoved his way through a pack of photographers today, the nation's top securities regulator made a shocking admission that government auditors had repeatedly failed to thoroughly investigate allegations that Madoff was running a scam.
Credible allegations about Mr. Madoff had been made over nearly a decade and yet never referred to the commission for action.
Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Christopher Cox says Madoff kept several sets of books and lied to regulators to cover up an elaborate Ponzi scheme. But Cox claims there's no evidence of any deliberate wrongdoing at the SEC.
It is an outrageous failure.
Former SEC lawyer Jacob Frankel, though, says government investigators blew it.
The fact is that when they did go in to the Madoff operation, and Bernie Madoff would say, look at this, and look at this, and the SEC would say thank you and not pursue it.
Now the SEC is pursuing an investigation into what went wrong. One area of interest involves former Inspector Eric Swanson, who at one point led a team looking into Madoff's financing. Swanson left the SEC in 2006 and is now married to Madoff's niece, a top lawyer for Madoff's firm. Swanson says he did nothing wrong and promises to cooperate. Madoff, who made a personal fortune, has multiple homes, country club memberships, and a yacht. Now he wears an electronic tracking bracelet on his ankle and is under nighttime house arrest. Madoff told the FBI his clients lost up to $50 billion, but no one has a firm grasp on the real scope of the damage or how many investors lost their life savings.
I'm broke.
Larry Leaf is one of them. He's out $8 million and now blames the government for not finding the fraud.
I've saved my money, I planned for my retirement, I did everything right, and I paid all my taxes. And now the government has allowed this to happen.
Late today, CBS News learned that President-elect Obama will name Mary Shapiro tomorrow as the new SEC chairman. Shapiro has a long background in financial regulation. We should say that Chairman Cox previously said that he all along intended to leave at the end of the Bush administration. Katie?
Bob Orr reporting from Washington tonight. Now to another scandal, the Senate seat for sale case in Illinois. The state's highest court today refused to remove Governor Rod Blagojevich from office. Meanwhile, the story continues to overshadow Barack Obama's transition to the White House. From Chicago tonight, Cynthia Bowers.
At his press conference today, the president-elect said he's anxious to release details about the issue hanging over his transition team. The report outlining potential contacts between his aides and Governor Blagojevich, including a reported 21 tape conversations with his incoming Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel, is being held until next week at the request of federal prosecutors.
You ran on a platform of transparency. How difficult is all this, having to wait to release your inquiry business when the American people expect transparency?
Well, it's a little bit frustrating. It's not going to be that long. By next week, you guys will have the answers to all your questions.
His words echoed by the embattled governor outside his Chicago home.
I can't wait to begin to tell my side of the story and to address you guys, and most importantly, the people of Illinois. That's who I'm dying to talk to. There's a time and place for everything. That day will soon be here.
Perhaps as soon as tomorrow, he said, but when pressed for details, the governor turned glib.
Hang loose, to quote Elvis, hang loose. Now, can I get a run in?
Blagojevich then jogged off, but he can't outrun impeachment proceedings now in their second day at the State House.
The governor conspired to trade or sell the appointment of the U.S. Senate seat for personal gain.
Blagojevich's attorney Ed Jensen fired back, questioning the impeachment process itself, saying the wiretaps at the heart of the case are just, quote, people jabbering, and calling some members of the panel biased.
They made comments which shows that Rod Blagojevich cannot get a fair and impartial hearing of this committee.
That small victory with the Supreme Court may turn out to be a hollow one because both the impeachment and the criminal cases continue. Katie?
Cynthia Bowers. Cynthia, thank you. Meanwhile, CBS News has learned that President-elect Obama will nominate Illinois Congressman Ray LaHood to be Transportation Secretary. He'll join Defense Secretary Gates as the second Republican in the cabinet. Today, Mr. Obama named former Iowa Governor Tom Vilsack his Agriculture Secretary. He's the fourth former candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination to join the Obama cabinet. Also nominated today, Colorado Senator Ken Salazar for Interior Secretary. The president-elect was invited today to the ultimate power lunch. President Bush will host him and all three living former presidents, Carter, Bush, and Clinton, seen here at the Clinton Library dedication in 2004. The White House lunch is set for January 7th. Overseas today, OPEC said it will cut oil production to try to stop the dramatic slide in prices. Oil traded below $40 a barrel today for the first time in more than 4 years before closing just over 40. Back in the summer, it hit a record high of $145. In this country, gas is averaging $1.67 a gallon nationwide. That's down $2.44 from its record high. Elizabeth Palmer now on what the oil cartel is doing about that.
It was a dramatic announcement meant to jolt the world's energy markets.
I hope we surprised you. If you are not surprised, then we need to do something about it.
The surprise was a production cut, the biggest in OPEC's history, designed to boost plummeting oil prices that have hurt OPEC nations. They rely on oil prices of between $60 and $100 a barrel to balance their budgets. The 13 OPEC members pump about 40% of world consumption. Operating as a cartel, they set production limits collectively. By cutting 2.2 million barrels a day, or about 6% of their production, they'd like to force the price up again to roughly double.
As we take 2 million barrels a day out of the market of OPEC supply, that it will tighten this market and that it will ultimately lead to higher prices.
But it's a risky strategy in the midst of a global downturn.
Cutting oil supply is a mistake by OPEC because what it does is it drives the price artificially higher, and that in turn is going to exacerbate, prolong, worsen the recession.
For American consumers, lower prices at the pump have offered some relief in a dire economy.
It's great.
Even though it's been a bumpy ride.
So I don't get it. It's like, why a month ago were we paying $5 and now it's like $173? It doesn't make sense to me.
And it's not getting any more predictable. Demand for oil is slowing so dramatically as the recession deepens that OPEC's production cut hasn't pushed the price of oil up, at least not yet. In fact, it's even dropped a little. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
Cheaper oil and gas hasn't helped America's car makers. There are just not enough buyers. So today, Chrysler said it will shut all 30 of its plants for a month, starting this Friday. Ford confirmed plans to close 10 plants for 3 weeks. Coming up next, here on the CBS Evening News, this idyllic town has a terrifying story to tell, terrifying enough for the mayor to fear for her life.
I want you to read chapters 5 through 10 tonight. There may be a test on Monday.
Saved by the bell again. Excuse me, Miss Jones. We should talk.
I know. I gotta go all the time, and I'm trapped in here till the bell rings.
That is an accident waiting to happen. You need to have the Detrol discussion with your doctor.
Detrol?
Detrol LA. It's the brand doctors prescribe most to help calm that
gotta go feeling.
Just one pill. Works all day and all night. Look, at DetrolLA.com, you learn how to get the discussion started. If you've certain stomach problems, glaucoma, or trouble getting urine to pass, you shouldn't take Detrol LA. The most common side effects are dry mouth, headache, constipation, and abdominal pain. Ask your doctor if Detrol LA is right for you. Looks like she had the Detrol discussion with her doctor. She's spending less time here. I should be so lucky.
What you doing, Richard? Catching butterflies? Strawberries. I'm catching the smell of strawberries. The smell of strawberries?
Smucker's captures the goodness of fruit in every jar, even the flavorful aroma. With a name like Smucker's, it has to be good.
Feeling stuffed up? Unstuff yourself with Afrin No Drip. It's got the best medicine to open nasal passages. Afrin, the best stuff to unstuff.
Tired of morning coming in the middle of the night? Ask your prescriber about 2-layer Ambient CR. The first layer dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep, and unlike other sleep aids, a second dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. Until you know how Ambient CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Plan to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active. Sleepwalking and eating or driving while not fully awake with amnesia for the event have been reported. In rare cases, severe allergic reactions can occur. If you experience any of these behaviors or reactions, contact your doctor immediately. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic and can be taken for as long as your prescriber recommends. Like most sleep aids, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. To wake up ready for your day, ask your prescriber for 2-layer Ambient CR.
A picturesque town in the Midwest is the setting for a very bizarre story. Members of a secretive group in Shawano, Wisconsin have allegedly put out a contract on the mayor and dozens of other local officials. Our chief investigative correspondent Armin Katayan has this exclusive report.
The annual holiday parade in scenic Shawano, Wisconsin. For the first time in years, someone is missing. The longtime mayor nowhere in sight, afraid for her life.
To have this happen, who would think it?
So unthinkable that Mayor Lorna Marquardt's open door policy is now officially closed.
And this glass here?
This is bulletproof?
It is bulletproof.
Yes.
All part of a once quiet town, turned upside down.
We have weapons in our home now.
All a reaction to news of an alleged hit list and claims by a so-called hit man, now telling his story for the first time.
Then I said, you want me to kill 60 people? You want me to kill the whole town of Shawano?
Were they hiring you as a hitman?
Yes, they were.
You're talking about the mayor, the city administrator, the city treasurer, the city attorney, the police chief, the judges, investigators, fire commissioners.
Canadian businessman Bob Cameron says in late October he received $175,000 in wire transfers from people known to be part of a secretive group long run out of this house near Shawano called SIST. Minutes later, Cameron says his fax machine spit out this list of 60 names, with the mayor at number 1. At the top of the page, the word red rum, murder spelled backwards.
Could get me guns, and they had a place to buy them and everything. And that's when I realized that I was in over my head, and I sent this to the authorities right away.
Sources tell CBS News both the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police considered Cameron's claims about the hit list to be both serious and credible. For 30-plus years, the group now known as SIST has been led by a man once named Rama Behera, now called Dr. Avraham Cohen. The group says it's an educational nonprofit, but over the years, news reports, public records, and former members have characterized it as a religious cult, a charge a lawyer for the group strongly denied.
There is not and never has been a cult, any more than CBS is a cult. Although there are people who believe that CBS is a communist organization, which you deny.
I'm not scared of these people.
Cameron would appear to be an unlikely choice for a hitman. He said the only reason he got mixed up with SIST was because they owed him more than $100,000 from a business deal 3 years ago involving high-end go-karts.
I was looking for an opportunity to, to get my money back from them.
So Cameron claims he played along with key members of the group for a couple of months, spinning stories about himself and agreeing to help them find loans, when one day they asked if he could help them with their political problems with some people in town.
You're a motorsports owner in Canada. How can you help them with their political problems in Wisconsin?
I have an Italian wife, and of course, which meant that there was Italian ties and Italian mafia ties, so I advised that I knew people that could, that could really help them with that.
Attorney Eisenberg calls Cameron's story nothing but fiction.
This is sheer, unadulterated fantasy. I've never heard anything like this from Mr. Cameron or reported by him.
SIST in the city of Shawano have been at odds for years after the group and some of its members began buying up property in and around town, more than $13 million worth today. But several of their storefronts now sit empty, and thousands of dollars in property taxes remain unpaid.
I think that they may have some financial issues. They seem to want to blame the city for those things. So I think the more problems that are occurring for them, the angrier it seems they become.
Lately, some of that anger has boiled over into a series of attacks on the mayor, like this press release issued by SIS that claims Cameron told the group he was a hired gun for the mayor and the FBI to rob SIS, and YouTube videos like this one decrying the cult of Mayor Lorna Marquardt.
Part of what makes some folks here so nervous is what the local sheriff called the unknown, secretive nature of the group. The blue and red tarps draped over the main building. People videotaping those who simply drive down the street, or like us, are standing on a public street.
In fact, within 15 minutes of our arrival, we were confronted downtown. Two men showing up to videotape our meeting with reporter Michael Lauber of CBS affiliate WSAW, who has done a series of stories on the group.
Why are you staying here on this sidewalk?
Why am I? It's a public street.
Why are you? What made you choose this location?
I chose this location because it's got a nice picture of Shauna right behind me. You guys seem really kind of aggressive. I mean,
you're associating with a person that is very, very evil. He's like the minister of propaganda and lies.
The local reporter?
Yes.
Are there any people in Shawano who are afraid of SIST?
There are people in Shawano who are afraid of CBS. That's my answer. Nobody from SIST has been accused. Nobody from SIST has been questioned. Nobody from SIST is being investigated.
But law enforcement sources tell CBS News that the FBI is actively investigating what it calls a person of interest within SIST, but no one has been named. So far, no arrests have been made, only adding to the state of fear felt by so many in this idyllic little town. Armin Katayan, CBS News, Shawano, Wisconsin.
My sinuses are so congested, I can't think.
The pressure's keeping me up at night.
My sinuses are about to explode.
Introducing Sudafed PE Day and Night Dual Pack. Maximum strength relief of sinus pressure and congestion. 2 different tablets relieve sinus symptoms so you can get through the day and rest at night.
My sinuses are relieved.
I feel rested.
I feel like myself again.
Sudafed PE, day and night. Unblock your head.
Not playing with the kids? Not on these legs. Poor leg circulation. Doctor says it's PAD.
Peripheral artery disease? More than doubles your risk for a heart attack or stroke.
So I hear.
Better ask your doctor about Plavix. Plavix can help protect you from a heart attack or stroke. Plavix helps keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, the cause of most heart attacks and strokes.
My cousin, the MD.
Call your doctor about Plavix.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. So tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called DTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
So Jenny and I were talking, and we just had some questions. Of course, you're retiring in this environment. I have some ideas about your portfolio that may help answer them. Let's take a look. Sounds good.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors. Over 10,000 offices, one near you.
Campbell's Green Bean Casserole. Make some holiday magic.
It's a wonderful holiday tradition, and it's going on now at JM Lexus. Now is the best time of the year to buy the Lexus you've always wanted at the very best price. During our December to Remember at JM Lexus, lease a beautiful new ES350 for $399 a month with no money down for qualified lessees, or an IS250 for $389 a month, also no money down for qualified lessees. Make it your December to Remember at JM Lexus on Sample Road in Margate.
This Friday, the outgoing Bush administration plans to sell leases for oil and gas drilling in protected areas in Utah. Today, environmental groups went to court to try to stop the sale. And as Wyatt Andrews reports, they have some serious star power on their side.
Conservation groups call it a last-minute Christmas present from the Bush administration to the oil and gas industry, a plan to auction the drilling rights to some of the most wild and scenic areas left in America, 110,000 acres of red rock public land in Utah.
Pipelines, power lines, it's an industrialization of a landscape that is now wild and empty.
It does not belong to Cheney or Bush.
The groups are backed by actor and activist Robert Redford, who called the auction morally criminal.
Once this land is destroyed, it's gone. You want to preserve something that's not only a part of our heritage, it belongs to us, not them.
The most controversial land parcels up for bid sit right beside the popular Arches National Park. The parcels shown here in red are on the block and can easily be seen from the park. The oil and gas industry says critics exaggerate the impact of drilling. In the most sensitive areas, they say, those tall oil and gas rigs can only be on the land for 30 days.
The rig moves off, and very small, you can put on low-profile equipment onto that lease.
The industry also insists America needs the energy.
And when companies are denied access to that land, we as Americans lose access to that vital energy resource.
The administration, meanwhile, says the land auction set for Friday has been in the works for 7 years and is not a last-minute effort to allow for oil and gas development. But the fact is, oil and gas developers are in a race to lock down drilling rights to Utah's gas reserves because they fear the Obama administration will put all of these lands off limits. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Caroline Kennedy went public today about her desire to be the next U.S. Senator from New York, succeeding Hillary Clinton. Kennedy made a quick tour of upstate.
As some of you may have heard, I've told Governor Patterson that I'd be honored to be considered for the position of the United States Senator. I wanted to come upstate and meet with Mayor Driscoll and others to tell them about my experience and also to learn more about how Washington could help.
The decision is up to the governor. We'll be right back.
I always thought calcium and vitamin D and exercise would keep my bones healthy. But I got osteoporosis anyway, so my doctor started me on once monthly Boniva. and he told me something important. Boniva works with your body to help stop and reverse bone loss. My test results proved I was able to stop and reverse my bone loss with Boniva. And studies show after 1 year on Boniva, 9 out of 10 women did too.
Don't take Boniva if you have low blood calcium, severe kidney disease, or can't sit or stand for at least 1 hour. Follow dosing instructions carefully. Stop taking Boniva and tell your doctor if you have difficult or painful swallowing, chest pain, or severe or continuing heartburn, as these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems. If severe bone, joint, and/or muscle pain develops, tell your doctor.
I've got this one body and this one life, so I wanted to stop my bone loss. But I did more than that. I reversed it with Boniva. Ask your doctor if Boniva is right for you.
Boniva helps stop and reverse bone loss.
This is America. We protect what we hold dear. And every day, Bank of America is here for you. With 200,000 associates, 6,100 banking centers, and hundreds of products and services to help protect what you have and build opportunities for the future. No wonder families in America trust more of their hard-earned money with us than any other bank. Bank of America, bank of opportunity.
When my doctor told me I had to lower my cholesterol, I was shocked. I worried about the foods I'd have to eat. But you do what you have to.
My wife insists I eat whole grain oats to help lower my cholesterol. I made the commitment for her.
I was told eating certain foods can help lower my cholesterol. I guess it's a sacrifice I have to make.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
No one said it would be easy. Be happy, be healthy.
Today I found out that my funny bone is sick and that my drug plan's monthly premium changed. So I compared other plans and found similar coverage at a better price.
Now's the time to review and compare Medicare prescription drug plans. And from November 15th to December 31st, you can even change your plan. Call 1-800-MEDICARE or go to Medicare.gov and use the Plan Finder to see options in your state.
Your funny bone is better now.
And so is my prescription drug plan.
Tomorrow, think the $50 billion investment scam was bad? We have an expert who says it's about to get a lot worse on Wall Street. Tomorrow on The Early Show.
Tomorrow, a little girl's remarkable recovery has doctors wondering if the impossible is now possible. Tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
With just 7 shopping days till Christmas, we end tonight in a store that's taken the holiday to a whole new level. Made shopping not just a chore, but an experience. A Christmas tradition with a great set of pipes. Here's Richard Schlesinger.
On the second floor of Macy's in Philadelphia, you'll find women's wear, outerwear, and the biggest pipe organ in the world, played masterfully by virtuoso organist Peter Conti.
Have you always played in women's clothes?
Women's shoes
so
at one point, yeah. Women's shoes never had my size, but you know, that's it's okay.
The organ was built into the store in 1911 and has been part of Christmas in Philadelphia ever since.
As a child, my father would always bring us here to hear this organ at Christmas time. It was a family tradition.
The organ occupies a peculiar place in music history and a prominent place in retail history.
You get folks coming in just to buy a pair of shoes, and then they look up and they hear this instrument, and they're transformed and transfixed for a moment in their lives.
That's a tall order, even for a giant instrument. So just how big is it?
It's got 28,000 plus pipes, 28,400 and something pipes in the organ.
28,400 and something?
We're not quite sure.
The innards of the organ are scattered through the store, built into spaces on 7 different floors. In this area alone, there are 6,300 pipes, give or take a few. And countless shoppers have heard the music. The bigger the audience, the better for business, which is all about generating foot traffic.
Does it make you want to shop more? Does it make you want to come in here? Or
Oh, yeah.
And that is music to Macy's ears at a time like this when retail sales are nothing to sing about.
Richard Schlesinger, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Not max-worthy.
At CarMax, only the most worthy are max-worthy. Get free vehicle history reports at CarMax.com.
Will Smith's sexy new scene, Tani and Marie back on TV, Beyonce, John Walsh, and the top 10 celebrity scandals of 2008. ET in HD is next.
Let's go ride a couple of dolphins. Come to Atlantis for a great family escape. An Atlantis Sunscape. All the exciting ways to play. All the water slides. All the river rides, all the wonder, all included. And kids under 12 stay free. Call 1-800-ATLANTIS for a great Atlantis Sunscape. Book by December 31st. 2 nights from only $269. Atlantis.
Entertainment Tonight and The Insider in high definition.
Big Willie's big night in Hollywood. And his sexy scene with Rosario Dawson.
Is this true that Jada said, when you do this love scene, make sure you represent?
Plus, Will's buddy Tom does Letterman's Top 10.
Number 8, I still wear those underpants from Risky Business. Yeah!
Then, our new John Walsh interview about finally finding his son's killer.
It'll be the best Christmas in 27 years.
Jennifer versus Angelina, the New York governor's call girl, Sean Edwards' affair.
I would welcome participating in a paternity test.
We are counting down the top 10 scandals of 2008. Paula's obsessed fan found dead at McMahon facing foreclosure.
Morning.
Which will be number 1?
Entertainment Tonight, welcome to the set of Rediscovered.
Donnie and Marie hosting a new reality show, giving singers a second shot at fame and some serious cash.
Can you imagine making that kind of money in one night?
Is Clint Eastwood's latest role his last?
I wouldn't miss it if I didn't do it again.
And
you was naked in your hotel room?
Beyonce in the middle of a violent love triangle.
You better do something